Alright everyone, the time has come, the time we all knew was coming, it's official. Daniel Ricciardo will be leaving McLaren after the 2022 season. At the time of scripting this video, it's just been announced by Formula 1 and Daniel Ricciardo on Instagram that Daniel will no longer drive for the Papaya team in 2023, even though he did have a contract in place with the team for the next season. From my understanding of the whole situation, this means Ricciardo has been bought out of his contract by a hefty payment made by McLaren in order to terminate Daniel's contract, since in the end the terms of the contract gave Ricciardo the final decision on his future with the team. So the only possible way McLaren could get rid of him was to buy him out of his 2023 contract. This all expectedly comes after what has been an extremely disappointing season and a half spent with McLaren. Yes, at times it was the team screwing over Daniel's races through strategy, but overall he just hasn't performed up to the standard McLaren was expecting. I mean, when Ricciardo signed with McLaren, I for one was expecting him to go into the team, use his experience and just hit the ground running. The idea was he would be the leading driver, the better one. He's proven more than once that he's capable of being the number one driver of a team. Before 2021, I wouldn't have ranked Lando near as high as I would Daniel, but now that's not the case. In both 2021 and the 2022 season so far, Lando has quite literally mopped the floor with Daniel, solidifying himself as the McLaren number one driver and made Daniel look like an overpaid number two. I'm a big Ricciardo fan, but sadly that's really all he's been so far up till now with McLaren. A really expensive number 2 driver. Sure, he's had a good couple of performances, the main one that stands out being his win at Monza last year, but as great as it was seeing Daniel on the top step of the podium again, the issue is that he hasn't been consistent. But a driver of Daniel Ricciardo's skill level doesn't just lose their talent overnight, and that's what I see a lot of people seem to believe. What I think is the car has been the main problem. I'm sure you've already heard, but I'll explain again. The McLaren 2021 car was notoriously tricky to drive, as said by Carlos Sainz after he left for Ferrari. The car was essentially built for Lando Norris and his driving style, which essentially rendered Ricciardo's iconic late-braking driving style useless. It simply didn't work with the McLaren. So even though 2022 has brought new regulations for cars, chances are McLaren have designed their 2022 car with the same philosophy in order to suit Lando's driving style, which he's proven to the team works. So it was a safer bet on McLaren's end. But that continues the issue of Ricciardo being not so quick, to put it bluntly. And of course, now it's led to the departure of Ricciardo from McLaren. I honestly think this is the right move from both Daniel and McLaren, since I've said in previous videos, it's apparent now that Daniel just really hasn't got a future at McLaren. So leaving the team before any more damage to his image and reputation can be done is definitely the right move in terms of getting another seat in F1 beyond 2023. Overall though, as sad as it seems short term, I think things are looking better for Daniel and his career in future. Before McLaren, Daniel was racing for Renault, now Alpine, when he surprisingly made the exit to McLaren. I say surprisingly because he was doing well. In 2019, his first season with Renault, he beat Nico Hülkenberg, not necessarily by a huge margin. However, keep in mind Hülkenberg was already settled in at the team quite nicely, so he knew the car well and was still beaten by Ricciardo. But 2020 was his really good season, finishing P5 in the constructors' standings in a Renault. That's insane. And then he threw it all in the bin when he left for McLaren. So why do I say things are looking good for Ricciardo's future then? Well, that's because most likely he's moving right back to Alpine, where the car was pretty well suited for him, and if the design philosophy is anything like it was before, chances are Ricciardo could actually join and hit the ground running this time. But take that with a grain of salt, since it isn't exactly confirmed yet either, and as you see, the driver market is going nuts, so who really knows where Daniel might end up. Obviously we know now that Piastri will be joining McLaren for 2023. We're just waiting on the announcement, and I would say that it's fairly safe to assume the same thing will happen with Ricciardo and Alpine. But on the off chance he doesn't make the move back to Alpine for whatever reason, there are two other potential seats he might end up in. The first one I would say is the least likely, and I'm only saying it's a possibility because there will be a free seat there for 2023. And you might have guessed it, yes, it's Williams. Yes, surprisingly, I don't think Latifi will be in F1 next season. As much as I like the guy, I think we can all agree that he's not really Formula 1 worthy, although I don't rate him as low as others do. But you have to remember, unlike in other major sports, Formula 1 is extremely limited in terms of space. There are 20 spots and that's it. So you really have to be the best of the best, and you can't just be good and that's it. But like I said, I doubt Ricciardo will move here as it's a complete downgrade to McLaren, and that's an understatement. They're the slowest team on the grid, and for a couple of years now, they haven't improved almost at all. You see, the reason he won't be at Williams is because if he doesn't go to Alpine, he'll go to Haas. Yes, sources say that Daniel has been approached by Haas considering his future in F1, and if he does end up at Haas, he's going to be replacing Mick Schumacher. While I don't think that's likely, on the off chance that he doesn't join Alpine, I think he will end up at Haas. And honestly, that to me sounds both terrifying and exciting. I say terrifying because, as you know, Haas hasn't had the greatest of seasons recently, especially last year. But excited because it's something completely new and you really don't know what could happen. But like I've said, Alpine is definitely looking like the direction Ricciardo's headed in, and I would say it's the right one. But honestly, who knows with the current state of the driver market? Anything could happen. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video there, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking this video and more importantly, subscribing to help with the growth of this channel. And if you have anything to add, maybe write it down in the comments below, since Mr. Algorithm seems to really like that. But on that note, I hope you guys have a blessed night, and I hope to see you guys next time.